Hello everybody, B Hero here. I wanted to make this video to give an update on the cheater situation, as well as given my enjoyment for the game so far, express what I'd like to see, and finally go over what I feel are some overlooked Cyberarm functions. So, without further ado, we'll just jump right into it. The first thing I'd really like to see are some kind of improvement with the pistols. They feel really underutilized at this moment. They are effective weapons, but not in the manner of you don't really see them mid or late game and barely even early game. Most people will run from a fight rather than use their pistol to fight in it. I know I've tried, I even have a loadout dedicated just to a pistol to try to really give it some time, but if they could do something to either improve the pistols or give them a little bit more of an edge, that would be wonderful. The next bit or second thing I'd like to address is SMG attachments from pickups. I can't count how many times I've picked up a epic either Tacoma or an epic Woodpecker, and it has a 2x scope on it. Now, while some may find it effective, at least from my use and what I've seen from others using, these weapons kind of fall under something you're using in more of a melee to close range. It's like something you pull out of your pocket and light up your opponent with, so you don't got to worry about a melee or anything, especially given the melee I also notice is underutilized. uh if they could either make them one-time sights, or just no zoomed sights at all on these SMGs, because I know I throw it away. I'd rather take most blue or green rarity weapons that are not that SMG with the 2x on it over that SMG with the 2x on it. The third thing is just weapons that I would like to see them add. The first one is definitely a lever action. Now this is solely just to fill some kind of gap in the marksman rifle category. Right now we have two marksman rifles, the Proton and the Right now I just feel there's a gap for something that can hit a little bit harder but not have to come with a dedicated scope on it, such as the Osprey or the Kestrel. The next one would be some sort of something to help balance out those pistols with what I said earlier. This could be a large caliber handgun or a revolver, something that you would see later in game and give somebody a reason to maintain that sidearm. Because right now for me, hitting 3 is just an annoying habit I come across. Now the one I feel the strongest about is adding a third shotgun option. Right now, shotguns seem to fall into two categories: the Squall's spray and pray and the Flinzer's slow heavy punches. The Squall offers a solid full auto option, while the Flinzer's pump action design excels at tearing off enemy cyberlimbs. Both of these have spreads that make them perfect for pushing your team, not your team, but pushing your opponent or ambushing enemies, but I just feel there's room for a shotgun that fills the gap between these two. Not a jack of all trades, but something that makes controlling a hallway or a doorway feel like you're actually using a shotgun to do that. Right now, with how tight the spreads are, most of the shotguns feel like a rifle with just a very high burst on it. You may even see in some of the gameplay on screen now when I'm using the Squall. Just please, no double barrel or break barrel shotguns. We deserve so much better. The fourth and final thing will be to improve the ping system a bit. Right now the ping system is very rudimentary, and that makes sense, it's early access, but to have something where I could let my team know, hey, I'm looking for this piece of gear or that piece of gear in the same vein that Apex does, would improve this phenomenally, especially given how specific your builds are to what you find in game or how much money you find until you get that loadout. Okay, now lastly what I want to get into are some overlooked cyberarm functions and or combos. The first one being the Slugger and the Phosphorus Fire. As you can see, if you drop Slugger first, the goop that slows people down, and then hit it with the phosphorus charge, it causes a wildfire, one that lasts for a good amount of time and damages all in it. Now keep in mind, you have to drop the Slugger first. If you go phosphorus first and then Slugger, it will not work. It will not ignite it. So you cannot throw down a Slugger goop charge on top of an already existing phosphorus, as you can see here. Next up is chaining your trip mines. I've seen a lot of people just fire 4 or 5 trip mines, which is good, you get distance. But if you hold down whichever arm, Q or E, you have your trip mine selected to, you'll see here you can actually create a long laser that when tripped by the opponent will set off 2 mines at once. Now these mines work in the same way that a bouncing Betty works, where it jumps up from the ground and then detonates. So having 2 of them set either above or below, left, right, anywhere, doubles your chances of hitting that person with your mines. Next up is the paralyzer, or sometimes in game called the defiler arm. When you trigger this, it shows you enemies and loot through walls. But if you hit the button again, as you can see it has the amount of charges there, you put down EMP charges. These disrupt your opponent, obviously. Next up is the ghost arm. Now this deploys a beacon that when it goes out, it puts off a distinct beep that you can hear now. It also has the flashing light on the top. If this is destroyed, it will shut down your ghost field. Now the field, when I say ghost field, it's because the ghost projects a field that if you run far enough, you'll find the barrier. Most of the time when you're utilizing this, you're probably not running that distance, you're utilizing it to engage someone. Now we have the hook shot. The hook shot not only allows you to get around the map, but it can also be used to damage your opponent. As you can see, the first hit will break 2 chunks of their armor, the next one will break an armor and 1/3 of their health, and then the third hit will eliminate your opponent. Now you have to be a certain distance away. If you're too close, it will not trigger. I realized as I was going to export this, I forgot to address the cheater thing I said at the beginning. So far I was able to play all of my games today without running into a cheater that I at least came across. They are capable of dying. It doesn't look like they're invincible, so they may have died beforehand. But so far I've had now 24 hours with no cheater, when before I had 48 hours with 2 of them. So that's the update on the cheater situation. Now, if you've made it this far, I want to thank you for watching. Also remind you that I do stream at twitch.tv/BeHeroHere. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Thank you.